The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 75. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of successful women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Subscribe to our newsletter by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of phenomenal women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a special lady on today who is currently in Florida, but she goes back and forth to Panama, and I mean, who wouldn't want to live in Panama, right? And she is a lifestylepreneur, and I met her about a year ago in Florida at an event, and she's, the nicest person I've ever met, so, I had to have her on the show, so without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Brandy Randall. Brandy, how are you doing today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hi, Sheena. Yeah, I'm doing so good. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I was born and raised in New Mexico, kind of coming from a small town, and just probably within the past 5 years, started traveling the world and exploring a little more and discovering where I want to be.
I like that. You just decided to just take action on your dreams, right? Most people out there, they're always saying, someday I will do that, right? And we all know when we say someday, that someday never comes, right? It's just really just taking the action and doing the things that you love. And I mean, I've seen you everywhere on Facebook, right? One minute you're in one area and then the next minute you're in another. And it's just amazing what you can do when you just decide to take action. So you mentioned you're from New Mexico. So what's your cultural background?
Spanish-speaking background, Mexican-American, basically, a mix between Native American and Mexican-American, so little landlocked area in the middle of the States, so I was pretty anxious to get out and explore.
Love it. I know what it's like when you're like in a small town or a small island, because like I'm from the Philippines and we live in this like small island, and sometimes you're just like, I need to get out there.
Yeah, it's a big world.
Yeah. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Well, I found a really good one that I wanted to share with you guys, and it goes like this. It's from Alan Alda, who's actor, writer, producer, and he's really into science and theory, and it goes like this. Laugh at yourself, but don't ever aim your doubt at yourself. Be bold. When you embark for strange places, don't leave any of yourself safely on shore. Have the nerve to go into unexplored territory.
I love that quote, and I love the first part of that, which is to laugh at yourself.
Yes,
I like to share jokes with my friends.
Love that about you.
With my friends and family, and when nobody laughs, I'm the first one to laugh, and they're always like, "You're laughing at your own jokes." I'm like, "Well, I have to start it somehow, right?"
It's so important,
If no one's laughing at them, like I'll start laughing at them, right? And there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all, especially when you're trying so hard to do so many things. I mean, sometimes you just got to laugh it off, have a good time with it.
For sure, and they say laughter is the best medicine, so why not? So I really love that quote that you shared. That's the first time I've actually heard of it. And, in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
Let's see. Well, to me, it's just kind of having faith and hope that everything's going to be okay no matter what you do. So just trusting deep in yourself that no matter what you do and where you go, it's just going to work out.
Thanks. And, that's really important, because sometimes we might not see the results yet, and then we get like bogged down thinking, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? But, sometimes everything happens for a reason, and you're in your own journey for that reason, right? So it's really important to just like pretty much trust the process, trust the journey, because something good will come out of it. So
right. If it's just a lesson learned, it's always good.
Yeah. So I really love that definition. And, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Well, before I realized that we could pretty much do anything we ever dream of, I just felt a little stuck where I was at. I just knew inside of me that I wanted to be exploring and traveling, and right out of college, I just kind of got stuck into the typical, 9 to 5. I worked my way up into a management position where I made good money, and I had the typical house, car, all that stuff. But to me, it was just kind of boring. And I just felt like I was so young and I was already kind of stuck into what everyone told me I was supposed to be doing. So I was obviously listening to what other people were telling me and struggling with what I felt and what I wanted to do. So I just had a hard time kind of letting go of that and finding my kind of drive to make a change.
Thanks for sharing that. And I know how you feel, right? Because I had an office job for 12 years, right? And sometimes I was just sitting in my cubicle thinking, is there more to life than this?
Exactly.
But your friends and family, they do it for the right reasons, telling you like, oh, you have a good job, keep it, right? But, deep inside, there's always something more out there, right? And I was listening to a YouTube clip today, and they were saying that, people's perception of you doesn't have to define you, or something along that line, right? Meaning if someone tells you, you're just good at you can just, your job is the best that you can do, you don't have to listen to them, right? Because you're here for a reason, you have a greater purpose, and you can do more than just working at that job, right? I mean, if you love your job, that's great, but if, you have that burning desire to do more, that means that you are meant to do more. And that's how I see it. So, I know what you were going through because I was going through the same thing. And what was that aha moment when you realized that, you could do more? You can be, doing things outside that 9-to-5 world.
Right. Well, I feel like there's been a couple. So, and they always come to us at like different points of life. So, but for me, I always get these aha moments, like when I'm kind of out in the wild in nature and just kind of by myself, really thinking things over and like digging a little bit deeper. So, my first one that I remember that was a major aha moment for me was when I was in college and I was doing an internship and I was actually working at a national park. So it was a really beautiful sunset and I was up on top of this mountain and right after sunset the moon came up and I was kind of overwhelmed with this ridiculous view of nature and just feeling really proud of myself for having made that happen, choosing to be in school and choosing to be working this internship and choosing to be right there at that time. And I felt like it was my reward to be there at that point in time. And like, I felt pretty proud of myself for making that happen. So that was one of my first aha moments when I felt like, wow, I could do this anywhere. Like I could go to so many places and see so many things and just feel accomplished with that. So that was one of my first ones. And that one I'll never forget. That one will stick with me forever. My other one came to me when I finally made some changes and I actually decided that I wanted to make a move and do what I always wanted to do, which was live in a Spanish-speaking country and just like discover a whole new way of life. So in about 2010, I decided to head down to Central America and start doing some soul searching, and I volunteered for a sea turtle conservation program, and I ended up doing some other volunteer jobs, and I was hiking through the rainforest, and it was like Costa Rican rainforest, really intense rain. And I had another one of those pinch me moments where I'm like, wow, here I am again in this amazing place doing amazing things. And this is exactly what I was driving myself to do. And that was a really big aha moment to me too, where I just was overwhelmed with this really good feeling about where I was and what I was doing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, it's such a different feeling when you go out there and just start getting to know about yourself, going to different places, doing these different experiences. It just gets to help you learn more about yourself and what you're capable of. I mean, in the past episode, one girl, she said she went backpacking in Africa by herself. And I don't know if I have the courage.
That was so awesome.
I don't know if I have the courage yet to do that.
Yeah, that's really intense.
But she realized if she could backpack in Africa alone, and she was an Asian woman, right? I mean, that's just like the opposite of like what, the norm is. She said if she could backpack alone and survive, she can do anything. And it's just like these little moments when you go to these trips by yourself where you can realize, I can do this, I'm capable of doing anything. So, I really love that you shared these aha moments. And, what's your life like now after that discoveries or the discoveries?
Right. So, yeah, same story. So after that trip, I just realized, wow, if I can survive stuff like this, like out in the wilderness, I could pretty much survive anything. So after that, I dug up the courage and I just went ahead and moved down to Central America. I actually moved to an island on the Caribbean coast of Panama. And ever since then, I've literally just been living like daily adventures every day, waking up happy and excited. And it was a really big change for me. Obviously, it hasn't been easy. Money and survival and all those kinds of things are really hard when you move to a new place, but it's always exciting being there and living the new lifestyle and figuring things out since then I've just tried a whole bunch of different things as far as work goes and figuring out where I want to be. And now it's kind of put me into a new place where I am now, which is traveling and working on a boat. And it's not something I ever thought I would be doing, but I just kind of followed my heart and ended up here, and I'm really happy about it.
That's awesome. Sometimes, like you said, right, things will always fall into place. And I think, living the lifestyle that you have also helps you become more resourceful, right? You just find ways to make it happen.
Exactly.
So I really love that. And I just love how you are living the life that you want. You're not tied down to anything, and you can just do whatever, right? And
yeah, always keeping my options open, which is awesome for me.
So, to the woman who's listening to your episode, maybe she's also inspired to do the same thing. She wants to travel the world, be able to live a lifestyle that you have. What would be that one tip you would give to her when it comes to her own journey in self-confidence?
Well, first of all, just what works for me, like I said before, was just like going alone out into nature and really digging deep and trying to find what it is, just asking yourself what it is that's really going to make you happy. That's what's really helped for me, because somehow in that serenity and solitude, you just start to find the answers a little bit easier. And so once you kind of get there, I'd say just take the leap, follow your heart, let go of whatever's holding you back. Don't listen to what other people are telling you if, they're trying to oppose what you're saying, and just go for it. Let go of the fear. Especially for me, I'd say don't let lack of money hold you back, because I definitely never had money, but I always managed to just travel, and I would make sacrifices and, have crappy jobs or whatever, but just save up and make a plan and just make it happen. So when I went down to Costa Rica as a volunteer, I had basically no money, and I just kept figuring it out. And it's been 5 years since then that I've still just been traveling, and now I have a great job that allows me to travel more, and I'm super happy with it.
Awesome. And I like that, right? You had no clue what you were going to do, but you just said, how can I make this work, right?
Exactly.
It's just sometimes asking the right questions to find the right answers. So, thanks for sharing that. I'm sure the listeners out there are pretty stoked about their own lives as well, or trying to, make their own lifestyle of travel and just even maybe living on a boat like you, right?
Yeah, whatever it takes. It's definitely not what I pictured myself doing, but it's so perfect. I just kept pushing for the adventure and pushing myself to try new things, and I'm really happy where I'm at, and I'm sure it's going to help me find more things in the future, too.
Definitely. So, Brandy, if the listeners wanted to get to know you a little bit more, is there any websites or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, you could definitely find me on Facebook, and I post most of my travel pictures on Instagram, and my name is The Bikini Bum.
I love the name.
Thanks.
And to the listeners out there, if you want to, connect with Brandy, feel free to head over to thetowofselfconfidence.com and search for Brandy's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really just want to thank Brandy for taking the time to share her journey with us. So, Brandy, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheena.
No problem. And to the listeners out there, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Check out our resources to help you jumpstart your inner journey to self-confidence by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com.